Alright guys, welcome back, and in this video we will go and add some controls to our map so we can be able to draw points, lines or polygons on the map. Our objective will be to actually add some, we're gonna call this panel draw graphics, and then we're gonna add some buttons to it. The first button will be like draw point, the second one will be draw line, the third one will be draw polygon, so we can see how can we just draw some graphics on the map. From understanding how to draw graphics, you will understand a lot of things about the features and what's shown up on the map. Because basically what happened is when you draw graphics or any graphics on the map, let's say for example this is my map and I have my base map, I have layers, and this layers could be feature layer, web map layer, dynamic layer, any kind of layers, and inside the layer we have something called graphic layer. And this graphic layer will hold any graphics you draw on the map. So what is a graphic? We have three main types of graphics. We have a point, we have a line, and we have a polygon, right? So what's the difference between each one of them? Each one of them have a geometry. The geometry here is just x and y. The geometry here is an array of x, y, x, y, x, y. So this is a point, this is a point, this point, this point here. It's points, and what happens is that's an array of x and y's that is connected to each other, so they create a line. And here this is a polygon where it have also points, the array of points that is connected to each other, but always the first point is the last. That's how we can close the polygons. So this array of points, and this is just a point, and this is a point. So when I have an array of points here, x, y, x, y, x, y, x, y, that's called geometry. That's geometry. We can call it, it's actually called, it's not we can, it's actually, that's the name of it. Geometry. So now we have the geometry, but how are we gonna show the geometry on the map? Are we gonna show it red, blue, green color? Is the point gonna be 1 point? What's the size of it? How big it is? What's the symbology of this geometry or this graphic? So the symbology is something else called symbology, right? And the symbology is how you will make this geometry looks like. Of course, for the point it's different than the line, than the polygon. For the point, it just could be like a picture or a size or something related to a point that you can define how this point look like. You can make it look like an X, like a circle, like a diamond, so many different kinds. And for the line, there is different way of like make the thickness or make it dash dot or dash or dots, or like how you want to draw your line. You want it to be red, blue, you want it to be black, what color you want it. And for the polygon, we need to define how we're gonna fill it up inside. Is it what color is gonna be inside? How is it gonna be transparent or not? And for the line outside, have the symbology and the colors and the lines for the line outside is called. And what we are talking about here is something called symbology. If we go back to our API references, and I just want to put this two things aside, so I'm gonna put that here, and I want to open this, and let's give some space here, and some space for that too. Okay. Alright, so it doesn't want to give me space, that's fine, so we can use it this way. If we go to our references right here, and we go to the API reference, if we look at geometry, there is a library called geometry, and this one have, as you see here, it have point, polygon, line. So what that is it's that's geometry. When you create a new graphic on the map, you need to create the geometry first, and this is geometry point. This is going to give it an x and y, and the polygon is going to be array of points, and line is going to be array of points as well. So first we need to create that, and second we need to create the symbology. So what is a symbology? Symbology, you're going to find here symbols, and here all kind of symbols you can use. Of course this is gonna be a little bit confusing, but I want you to keep in mind that the one for the points is simple marker symbol, the one for the lines are simple line symbol, the one for the polygon is symbol fill symbol, and each one of them takes different values. So for example, for the marker symbol, it will take something like the type, the size, the color, the size, the outline. Also, if we look here, you can create a circle, and that circle inside of it is like black, but you wanted the line outside of the circle to be red. So that's how you define it here. You define the outline of the circle if you want it. So here it's a square, it's blue, the size is 8 pixels, type simple marker, and there's different types, and the outline will be color width, and like the width of the outline and the color. So for the line you will see something very similar to that, also type, color, width, style. It doesn't have an outline because it's just a line, so, and you can give it the type will be simple line, and there's so many different types that we can look at and see what's the type. Here's the types, possible values, but round, square, that's the end of the line. And we can see how can we set all these things and what it means. Here's the different types of the style of the line. It can be dash, dash, dot, dot. So if you want it to look like this, you need to take that and put it as a style for your definition for the simple. Like here, the style is like you can put the value for the one you want. For the symbol fill, it's exactly similar to the point. It just type, color, style, outline, and the color will be the color inside the polygon, like here as we described it here. This is gonna be the color here. The type simple fill, you can add pictures. There's different types here. You can add like lines. You can add different things in the type inside how this filling will look like, and the style is solid, so it's gonna be like not transparent, not repeated, no pictures, no images, just like a solid simple fill, like just add colors in there. And here the color will be something like based on RGB values, and this is the transparency, so the transparency will be 0.9, so it's gonna be a little bit transparent if we just copy these values and created a polygon. We're using these values, and also the outline here is white and the width is 1, which is these values here for the polygon is gonna be the width 1 and the color is white. So now we know what the geometry, you know what is the symbology. Simple marker simple symbol, here you go. Okay, yeah, just don't worry about that. It just, this is the types you have that you need to focus on right now. There's a lot of different kinds here. You can look at them, what they do, and you can use picture marker simple if you want to use a picture for your point. You use picture marker symbol and you give it the picture URL. So there's so many different things, but in order to use the basic one is a simple marker simple for your points, simple line symbol for your lines, simple fill symbol for your polygons. So now you have your geometry and you have your symbology. You give these two things to something called graphics. Oh, graphic object. So what is the graphic? The graphics is the thing that's going to show up on the map. So where you can find that, you can look here, and it should be somewhere with, well, I cannot find it, so simply you can search for graphic. Here you go, graphic, where it's in the main class, which is Esri class graphic. What does graphics take? First, you need to define what type this graphic is. Is it going to be a polyline, or is it going to be like a point, or is it going to be anything? And how you define it? You define it based on the geometry. So we already created a geometry. Let's say here, for example, we created a geometry. Let's say the geometry is gonna be x, y for the point, gonna be type point, and the point will be like 6 and 5. That's the x and y for it, right? The second thing, we want to create like the symbology. The symbology will be red, size will be 5, and the, let's say the outline will be normal, and that's enough. So it's going to be a point that is, the size of it is 5, red, and maybe you can make it transparent. So now we need to create a graphic, and we give it these two things. We give it the geometry you create, so it's going to be this one, this point geometry. It's going to go to here, and this symbology gonna go to here. And if you want to add attributes, you can add attributes. This is how you can add attributes. You create an object with the field name and the field value, and you now created a graphic. What you do with this graphic, you add it to your map view.graphics.add. Remember when we added the layer was added in our code to our map. Here we add it to the map, but there is a graphic layer that exists in the map view. It's just gonna be a graphic on top of everything. It exists on the map view. So the map view have something called graphics that's gonna take graphics, and each graphic you must define the geometry and the symbology for it in order to show it right on the map, and you have to add it. So what we are going to do in this video, I will show you exactly how to do that step by step by actually drawing it on the map. So the first thing we need to do is to come here and start to change in our UI. So we're gonna name this first panel, we're gonna go and call it draw. Let's put this aside here. I will call it draw graphics. And what we will do, we will create a container for our sketching widget. So we have a widget that calls sketch. So we're gonna create a new container here, dev id sketch container, and we're gonna close our div here, and we will go to the samples and look for, in the sample code, we go back here on the samples. I'm having it open already, but let me show you how to find it. You go to the samples and you search for sketch, and in the sketch you will find the sketch widget. So you click on the sketch widget just to see how that is used. So for the widgets, there's some widgets that is already created. So if I go to the API references, let's go here, open link, new tab, the references, you're gonna see widgets here, and widgets is tools that already created for you to use it right away. Like for example, for the sketch, you have the sketch, you don't need to create like a complete tool to, when I click what happened, and customize all the changes or the things you want to do when you're drawing the map. You have a tool and a widget that already called sketch that allows you to draw that on the map very easy and smoothly. So let's see how can we use the sketch one. If we go to the sketch sample here in the sample code, we can open it. This is here you go, this is the one. So let's refresh it and we will see first what is the things that are used here. Here they're using the graphic layer and sketch. So we're gonna take sketch, make sure we add it here. Here you go, sketch, comma. We also have the graphic layer, so we're gonna take the graphic layer as well, and we're gonna put that here. So we're gonna do sketch here, comma, sketch, comma, graphics layer, graphics layer. So this way we can use the sketch widget. So here's sketch and here's a graphics layer. So it's created a new graphic layer, and the graphic layer has been set to the map as one of the layers, so we can actually do that too. So we can copy this code, same thing we did with the feature layer. The feature layer it exists right here, right? We can do the same thing with the graphic layer. We have a graphic layer here, and we make the graphic layer, we're gonna initialize it on the top with this layer, var graphic layer, and the graphic layer will equal new graphic layer, and I will add it to the map as well. So that exactly similar to what we did here. So layers, it will be the graphic layer, we create a new graphic layer and we add it to the map. Here we have the map view, everything looks exactly the same. This is just if you want to define the extent, you can define the extent in a different way. You can set the center, lat and long, and then you define the zoom level for your map. So this is similar to how to add the extent, but you add the extent in a different way. You don't need to change that. So here is right here where the view is using this sketch tool. So the sketch tool is like view or map view when the sketch is like when it's initialized, sketch initialize a new sketch, and layer graphics layer, the layer, whatever layer is gonna draw on is gonna be the graphic layer that we have it on the map already here. And creation mode update. What creation mode update means is graphic will be selected as soon as it is created. And here in the view UI, add sketch top right. So you can add your sketch widget on the map, or you can add it anywhere you want. So let's go to the sketch itself on the references and see what options can it give you for the UI. Like, can I put it anywhere I want? Because I want to put it here. Is that okay? Let's see if that is okay or not. The way to know that is you go to the sketch location in the widget, and you look for here the view is the view model. We are trying to find out a container. So the ID or nodes representing the DOM element contains the widget. This property can only be set once. The following examples are all valid use cases when working with widgets. So here container, add this. Also we can add it to the view UI, or we can add it to the container right away. There's a div for it. So all this are valid options like they said. So we can add container properties, container, HTML element, string. Okay, so here we can copy this code. And then what we will do, we will copy this code here that initialize the sketch when the view is started. So this is view when initialized, this when it's done. Create a new sketch inside the view and add it to your top right. So we can also add it, instead of like at the end add it to the top right inside the view right here, we can add it to our container. I'll show you how we can do that. So we can come back here and we can paste that code here, but make sure that you are changing the right thing. So our map view is called map view, not view, and here is when sketch, create a new sketch. Layer is the graphic layer. Make sure this is the graphic layer is right. So the graphics layer here is the right name, and the view will be the map view. And here creation mode is update, or there's other options as we discussed. So we're gonna choose the single, and the single one will be allowing the whenever you draw like when you draw a graphic, it's not selected. You can keep drawing more graphics if you want. And again here we'll say the container will be my, so this is, I didn't write it right, container, and the container will be sketch container on the left side. And we don't need that, so we can delete this. So I think container is part of the container is, let's see here what it's called in the API, sketch widget. We have the creation mode single, we chose that right. So I think on the top we have container. Okay, it's here. I don't know what's, oh, we need a comma here. So the word was right, but we need a comma. Okay, so now this gonna be created and you can use it, and it's gonna be existing on the left band, which is called the draw graphics. The size of this one maybe not enough, so let's see how that's gonna look like. So here it doesn't look right. Let's refresh it. See, we need to give it some more space, so we can change that by changing the class on the top. So this is a split right, it's gonna be 75% and this going to be 25%. So we're just making it a little bit bigger. And refresh. Now we have our widget fitting inside of here exactly. We can make this smaller by come here and say the draw, like the draw container. Here we have the height set for draw graphics type class content open 2 pixels. Let's make it 150, or actually like let's make it let's delete the height from here. It's gonna open and fit exactly what's inside of it without any extra spaces. So when we open this one, we will have that without any extra spaces, and whatever we're gonna add here is gonna be added. So now I can start use this widget to draw graphics on my map. I can add points, I can add line, I can add polygon, I can add square, I can add circle, and there's settings here for what you want to enable snapping, snapping layers, or you have a lot of different layers. Then this is your graphic layer. You can snap on the graphic layers, so I will show you how enable snapping and line. So I want to connect this, see how it snaps to my layer. If I disable this one, it's not gonna snap to anything. So you can enable snapping to any layer, so I'm gonna enable to this one, and I want to connect one from here to here to here and here, for example. So that's extra tools comes with the widget. You can customize the widget in multiple different ways. You can disable which tool you're using, so you can move the map, and you can use this one to select any graphics you want on the map, and you can actually also select the graphic so you can edit it. You can edit this one like that, make it bigger, make it smaller, and if you want to edit the vertices, click on the line again one more time so you can add the vertices or change the vertices. And if you want to delete the vertices, right click on it and just make sure you select it and you press delete on your keyboard, select it. It's going to be highlighted as white, and press delete, is going to be deleted. So the orange ones you can delete, the white ones you can create new ones with them. So here we can move this one and create a new vertices, and if you want to delete it, you click on it and you press delete. This is how it works. It's a very simple tool. So that's how you can add graphics and draw graphics on your map. You can add a point, as we did. We can add one here. You can add polygon, lines, or circles. Also, I want to show you that you can change how the color and the symbology for the line, the point, and the polygon by changing the symbology for the sketch before adding it to your graphic layer. So the way to look at that is like you come here and you search for, like we can search for symbol, and we can find here tool string. So here event on graphic update, sketch on update. So this is events. So this sketch have events in it, right? Sketch update. On update, I want you to call this method. What this method does is it give you the graphic. So there is an update and maybe there is completed. Here's complete. If event status is complete, I want you to like do certain things. And what we can do is we can change the symbology before adding it to the graphic layer. So you can use that to change the symbology for your graphic before you add it. You can just use it to get a specific graphic if you want to change anything in the graphic before we add it to the graphic layer. So it's completely up to you to see what you can and what you want to do using your sketch. You can customize it. You can change so many things in it, but I just want to show you quickly how can you add the sketch to your map, and how can you enable it to work against your map. So this is the sketch sample, and you can use it as your reference to, and it's very simple. As you see, it just created a sketch, and that's exactly what we do here. We created a sketch, we reference the sketch and the graphic layer, we make sure we have it here. We at the bottom we make sure that we add the graphic layer to the map, add it to the map right here, and then when the map view is initialized or created, it took that sketch, created a new sketch, and added it to our container. So the sketch container creation mode is single, the view is map view, and the layer is graphic layer, and this is the results we have at the end. You can add graphics to your map. You can close this and open it if you want to, but the thing is, like, it's completely up to you and how you want to use your widget. You can customize it, and there's so many options you can do with this widget, and always go back and refer to the API references to know what you can do, and you can test multiple things with that. So that's it for this video, showing you quickly how to create graphics. In the next video I will use query and search, so we can search on the map. For example, we can search on the layers we have right here, and we can search on this layer and get some results from this layer. There's another widget called search, so we're gonna use that to customize our search on the map. So thank you so much, and we'll see you in the next video.